Saddam Hussein, why was he hung? Afghanistan, why was it invaded? Now, there's a lot of stories as to why both of these things happened, but I'm going to give you my angle on this, and this is based on monuments. Just before I show you, I'm just going to point out the fact that Saddam Hussein was accused of having weapons of mass destruction, and he had no such things. None at all. No evidence has ever been found to substantiate why Iraq was invaded that time and why he was arrested and hung. Lots of other reasons have been given. Oh, well, he was a tyrant. Oh, well, we should support the troops. Oh, well, this, that and the other. And oh, well, next week we'll have a Tuesday in it. None of these were reasons to invade the country, kill all those people, obviously, and hang Saddam Hussein. Regardless of whether you like him or not, his arrest was, to all intents and purposes, illegal. Therefore, there should not have been any form of trial. If he was going to be arrested for atrocities, then that's the reason that the country should have been invaded and not on a claim of weapons of mass destruction and change the story as you go along, because that's basically what happened there. And with Afghanistan, also, allegedly, oh well, they had something to do with 9/11. Says who? No one really believes that anyway. Everyone sort of thinks that 9/11 was an inside job, and everyone's got their own theory as to why and how it was done. But back to this now. Why was Iraq invaded? Why was Afghanistan invaded? Well, there's a coincidence connecting these two invasions, and they are both to do with monuments. This is a painting of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, a mock-up of it. Saddam Hussein was going to rebuild this, and you can find the news reports on the internet where it was reported that Saddam Hussein intended to place his own name on all or many of the bricks that were going towards having this amazing building rebuilt. Now, I saw that on the news in the UK, and you can find it yourselves on the internet just by having a quick look there. Now, originally on the bricks it said, I am Nebuchadnezzar, the ruler of the world. The world, no less. Now, Saddam Hussein was going to put his name on those bricks, which would infer, of course, that he has the same kind of importance as Nebuchadnezzar, who is a very important figure historically, so to speak. Okay, so next, let's move on to Afghanistan. This is a giant statue that was blown up by the Afghanis, and I remember when the British news were reporting this, that they were absolutely spitting poison about these statues being destroyed, and that there was pleading from the United Nations for the Afghanis not to blow these statues up, but they went ahead and blew them up anyway. Okay, so we've got a coincidence here. We've got one where Saddam Hussein was looking to put his own name on the bricks of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and we've also got a statue destroyed by the Afghanis. Obviously, it's an irreplaceable statue, but it is a statue of a Nephilim. If you are a pagan and you worship giants, Nephilim, then of course, if your so-called gods' statues are being blown up, and if your so-called gods' great structures like the Hanging Gardens of Babylon are going to have someone else's name put on them other than what you want, then obviously you're going to get angry, possibly even more than someone going into a Christian church and writing swastikas all over the place and stuff like that. That would be offensive to the Christians. So this here is pagan, and it's offensive to the pagans. And my personal belief is that the whole world is run by pagans, and that this here was their excuse to invade Afghanistan rather than 9/11, because again, I don't believe that there was any evidence that they did any such thing. So statues and monuments are very important to the pagans. In case you haven't noticed, all of the major structures around the world are pagan. All of them, all of the famous structures. I remember I heard a news report many years ago of what was described as a madman had taken a hammer and had destroyed the hands, just the hands, on statues in Rome. Now, why would he destroy the hands? Would it be perhaps because of certain hand signals that have been noticed by people and they needed destroying? But of course, this man, who we never saw, never knew his name, never heard of anything, was arrested and was taken away and perhaps put into a mental home because he had smashed the hands on some of these statues. But no one ever knew who this person was. So, as far as I'm concerned, I don't believe that this person existed in the way that the media portrayed it, just as a madman. I believe that this was done deliberately, because I've seen other examples of the hands of statues and the arms of statues somehow missing, destroyed, but they always seem to be cut off very neatly. So that tells me that obviously wasn't an accident. They could claim that they were tidying it up, but you don't do things like that to great works of art. You don't just say, well, I'll just destroy a little bit more just to smooth the edges off to make it look nice. You leave it just as it is. So I believe that was deliberate, and that these statues and monuments, all relating to the Nephilim, are very, very important to the pagans, and that the pagans run the world. And of course, if you destroy their statues, they're going to hang you, they're going to kill you, they're going to do whatever they want to you, because you have destroyed their religious artifacts. I made a video a while back saying that no monuments seem to get destroyed during wars, and they don't. These great monuments, I mean, London was bombed all over the place, but places like St Paul's Cathedral, Buckingham Palace, etc., they weren't touched. Perhaps a bit of shrapnel touched something, but they weren't destroyed. So Hitler was either a really bad shot, or these monuments were particularly lucky or protected by God, or perhaps, of course, it was pagans making sure that you do not destroy your own structures which pertain to your so-called gods, which are Nephilim abominations.